News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Thursday on Wall Street, which staged a cautious comeback after a Treasury sell-off, with stocks, bonds, and the dollar posting gains. And we bring you those closing numbers each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 is down 2.5 points. NASDAQ gained 53 points. The Dow is down 1 point. It's pretty much flat. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.53%. The 2-year yield at 3.99%. The Trump administration told Harvard University that it cannot enroll international students. That delivers a major blow to the school after the government froze billions of dollars of federal funding. Existing foreign students must transfer or lose their legal status. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says Harvard's leadership has created an unsafe campus environment. The Supreme Court has declined to allow state funding to pay for religious charter schools. The justices were divided 4-4 in a case over a faith-based charter school in Oklahoma, leaving intact an Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling that rejected the creation of St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School. The decision avoids a potential upheaval of U.S. charter school systems. Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself from the case. That allowed for the tie. Now, by just one vote, House Republicans have passed President Trump's massive tax and spend bill. House Speaker Mike Johnson says they're waiting for the Senate to take action now.
I'm not going to draw any red lines. Look, I told them there's a lot of different opinions over there as there is here. They have a small margin as we do. We had a 3-vote margin.
But it won't go straight to the Senate floor. South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham was asked about some House Freedom Caucus members telling the Senate to not water down their cuts.
You had your chance. There's some of these cuts are not real. So let's don't get high on our horse here that we've somehow made some major advancement of reducing spending, because we didn't.
The Senate is back June 2nd. It is the first report to come from MAHA, the Make America Healthy Again Commission, a group created through an executive order led by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
This report is a review of pre-existing research to comprehensively assess what we understand about our health problems and what we don't understand, and how we can find those answers.
The Commission's report highlights concerns about processed foods, vaccines, over-medication, pesticides, and lifestyle habits. It stops short of calling for immediate sweeping changes to industries, and it accuses corporations of spending money to influence government and scientific decisions. Administration officials insist the report is not an attack on industry. Food and Drug Administration Chief Marty McGarry told senators that the agency is requesting $6.8 billion for its fiscal year 2026 budget. He defended the reduction of 4,000 FDA employees, calling them superfluous administrators.
The trains are running on time at the FDA. There have been no staffing changes that have changed any approval schedules. The food inspectors are doing their job. There's no backlog at the food labs. Just to be clear, there were no reductions in scientific reviewers. We're actually hiring scientists.
McCary touted early moves to remove petroleum-based food dyes, eliminate animal testing requirements for drugs, and approve a new blood test for Alzheimer's. Bloomberg News has learned the Justice Department is investigating whether Google broke the law with a deal to use Character AI's technology and bring its founders into the company. Bloomberg Intelligence Global Head of Tech Research Mandeep Singh says Google's not the only big tech company that's done this.
Google, Microsoft, and Amazon did this acqui-hires of these startups back in 2024. So these were 3 different companies. Google did that for Character AI. Microsoft had the same sort of setup for Inflection. And then Amazon did it for Adept, which is another small AI company.
You can catch that full interview with Bloomberg's Mandeep Singh on the Bloomberg Intelligence podcast. Fed officials have held the central bank's benchmark interest rate steady this year, citing an overall solid economy and some uncertainty surrounding President Trump's tariff policies. Morgan Stanley chief U.S. equity strategist Mike Wilson says the rate of change is going to turn positive. He expects cuts eventually.
The Fed will be either communicating that they're turning more dovish, or they'll actually be cutting. Our official House view is no cuts this year, but then they have 7 cuts for next year with no recession. So that's pretty bullish.
Hear more from Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson on the Bloomberg Open Interest podcast. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.